welcome back. I am your co-host, Jay.
And I'm your co-host, Jules.
And this is the Bookfest Club. Well, I'm saying you can see it because the merch is here, right?
Man,
right? The merch is here.
You drowned in it, bro.
I'm drenched in the Bookfest Club merch.
You're enveloped in the merch,
right.
bro.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to tell people that the merch is fire, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's cool, calm, and collected. It go together.
It's
Chris
low key.
Black.
I got
you
mine.
Know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? It's low key.
Good
I got
material
the
and all that.
And that's my favorite part.
Listen, man, all we can do is keep putting it out there, man. It's up for the people to support it, whether they, want to or not. So, we appreciate everybody for tuning in to the pod. If you're going to cop some merch, we appreciate you for that as well. But I think somebody said in the comments, man, yo, when the next review dropping? Because y'all taking too long, man. So we had to, go in the lab and get right again, man.
No doubt.
We not in our studio, we working out some things with the good old people over there. Some things got to get ironed out first, and then but y'all gonna see us again in there a lot. So, be prepared for that, man. How was your week though, Chauncey?
It's been busy, bro. It's supposed to be a break for me, but
Understood,
man, that schedule is still, kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can't complain, man. I still have breath in my lungs, and so
absolutely.
Just hanging out with the kiddos, bro, but having fun.
Same here, man. Same here. Just politicking with the fam. Summer's here, kids out of school,
No
sun's out. Let's boogaloo, like they said in Ray.
Let's boogaloo, bro. But we got to talk about this Capri too, bro. There's a lot to discuss. This was a pivot. Well, I would say 2.5 is a pivotal one, but this one right here is it's setting the tone, bro.
Set the tone is not the word.
It's not the word.
Ooh. Boy, set the tone. Capri came through on some she's showing her tail on this one, man. A lot of characters is popping up, popping in. We getting to see new people. We getting to see, different versions of people. So I'm excited, man.
It's like a transition from the streets to the courtroom, right? And to the professional realm.
Yes.
And we're seeing how the Delgatos get down in the professional realm.
You can,
mm-hmm.
You can no longer handle this with just street violence. There has to be some, office work, office support work included in this, right? That other way ain't gonna get the job done.
It's like Ocean's 11 almost. It's it's an elevated strategic type of crime that's happening now, as opposed to in the Capone and the Capadonna series. Capri is giving us that polished, distinguished crime perspective, man. So yeah.
And y'all know we run that critique rubric over here. We got a rubric for everything: thriller, urban fiction, fantasy,
no doubt.
Whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? We got that critique rubric where we go through, while talking about the book, giving y'all spoilers, but we try to paint the scene for y'all in a literary element, not just talking about the book, but we try to dive into what authors, talk about. This is their feeling. This is it's like rap, right? Rap is just not rap and lyrics. Everything has a meaning. Everything has a story. You got to be able to tell a story. And what's the emotion when you're going through the book, right? That's what we try to bring out of people. Not just the words. You can know the words, but what's the emotion that happened inside the book? What did it make you feel? How did it make you think?
You giving too much away, bro. You giving too much away. You giving too much of the recipe away,
I'm giving
bro.
the recipe away. I gotta chill. You right. I just don't want people to think that, we don't read the book.
Nah, let them think. We can't think for them now. We gotta.
That's true.
We gotta say some.
But yo, what do we think when we get into the plot, right? Did the story grab you early, or did it take too long to get going? Did it feel authentic or forced? Were the twists shocking? Any parts that dragged to you? What do you think about the plot as a whole?
So let's talk this out, right?
Mm-hmm.
The book starts out feeling lighter than the Capadonna series, but I don't think we should get comfortable. Right? I don't think we should get comfortable because the story, it centers around Capri.
Absolutely.
Just navigating this new season of her life, new boo, new pregnancy, navigating engagement, navigating family wounds, specifically mother wounds. She's navigating, figuring out who she wants to become in this series. She's been everything for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Who is she for her? But, this Delgado universe, man, that peace never lasts.
Nope.
You know,
It
it
never
never, it
lasts.
doesn't last long, right? Right?
And it's
Hey,
like,
right when you
what?
think you
What
can,
do you mean? We just was walking. Like, what?
there's never a woosah moment, man. Right
Never.
when you think it's a
Absolutely
woosah
not.
moment, man.
No. And they like, wait, what? We just having coffee.
Exactly. One minute you
Nah.
talking about coffee and engagement rings and wedding
Yup.
plans. The next minute is
We
shootouts.
ducking
It's
down and it's
political corruption. It's
F you me.
exactly. It's family secrets coming out by this knucklehead named Naheem. You
Ooh,
know,
my
it's hidden
boy.
agendas there, right? And so
Absolutely, absolutely.
I feel like the biggest strength of the plot is the drama feels personal, bro. I feel like I'm like in this Capri series, this is the first of the Delgado series where I feel like I'm a
This
member
is
of the family.
yeah, this is personal.
Yeah, this is personal, bro. The
Hmm.
drama feels personal. The conflict between Capri and Jean, man, that's muddy, right? And it carried emotional weight and it kept me reading. The gunfights kept me reading. But I feel like these dialogues, these hard conversations that were being had, sometimes carry more weight than the gunfights, bro.
Yes, yes, because the tension goes, as we're gonna talk about later on, the scene where Capri finally has enough of her mother, right?
Yeah,
That's why this feels personal. Morgan, everything with Morgan is personal. He has a personal vendetta against the brothers, and we'll talk about that later. Like
yeah,
her book, everything was personal. It wasn't just business. It wasn't just this. That's why like the story grabs you early on. It doesn't take long because there's moving parts. There's major parts to the puzzle that has to get moved, whether it's 40 coming in and telling her from the beginning that she's gonna have to dive into this world and hold her family down from a 9 to 5 perspective, and her brother's gotta kind of sit back. It's like this one is personal. Capri even said it. Like he took my he took my brothers from me. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like this one is personal. It's and they keep saying that a lot. You get into super personal relationships with Amy and Capella in this one, the two brothers, then the Naheem and Kwame, we talk about that later. So I feel like this plot is just like it's simmering. The
yeah.
plot is simmering and the lid is gonna get blown off the top.
Yeah.
Pause.
It's funny how, yeah, pause that. But it's funny how, like, I like how Jahquel brings Naheem back into the picture.
Yes.
And I like it
Even
because
though he
it's
gets
messy.
attacked. You know
It's
what I mean?
messy. You know what I'm saying? To the point that Quamir then was just like, man, who raised you,
Drew
bro?
Ranger,
Like,
yeah, like
who raised you? That scene was so nuclear, bro. It was just like mushroom cloud, bro. This was
mhm.
crazy. And I feel like the ending with the shootout, the expressway shootout, feel like it reminded everybody that no matter how much healing happens, bro,
We got to get
danger,
that scene.
that danger, man. When you're on them expressways, man,
Nah,
you
but
better
this
have
time
the
they
head on a
went looking for
swivel.
it. No, no, no. This time they went looking for it though. It wasn't like they
Yeah,
was just cruising. Nah, they had
yeah,
a mission. This was a Grand Theft Auto mission right here.
you
This was
right.
one of those missions. So
You
they
right.
went looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't careful. They was
Nah,
dangerous.
they
You know what I'm
won.
saying? When
They
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 say, be
initiated
careful. No,
this.
don't be careful. Be
Yeah,
dangerous.
this was the
Okay.
initiation. They
I
initiated
got you.
this one because they had to get old boy, my son Schmurda up out of there. And we'll talk about that later. But I feel like the twist, I didn't see the twist coming on this one, right? The
Right.
twist in this book was definitely twisting. It was, but it's like that with all her books, right? You don't really get it until you just like sitting there and now you gotta buy the next one, right? And then you're
Right.
like, yeah, the twist got me. Let me go and purchase this book, right? So I feel like, nothing, no parts repeated in this one. This was like it's moving forward. Nothing is
Yeah.
going backwards. Everything is moving forward.
I feel like
The plan.
the pacing on point?
Yeah, the pacing was super on point because you got to build. Look at what she did, bro. She look at how she wrote this. Let's give some kudos to Jahquel. You
Got
got
to.
an office experience that you got to mend them people in together. You bring back the college experience where you go back into that detail. You have
Whew.
to build a whole love story with you building a love story with Capri and Kwame, all while him going through his process with his baby mama. The brothers, it's so many layers into this book. The pacing is just moving forward and it just keeps you when you think it's a down moment, something else happens. So I just feel like she took it that and I can't wait to give my review at the end. Like I just felt like this was one of the ones, man. Especially rereading
Yeah.
it and going
Yeah.
back and you're like, yo, nah, this was one of the ones, man.
Yeah,
But
because I finished this series a while back, but I went back for the sake of doing this particular review. Went
yeah,
back, refamiliarized myself with the story, bro, and it was better the second time, man. It's like mom's spaghetti,
Exactly.
boy. It tastes better the
Yeah.
second day, for real, man.
What about the characters, man, as we move over to point two, right? What are main characters believable? You know, did they grow or did they stay stagnant in the whole book? You know, did their decisions make sense based on their
Yeah.
real life environment? And then who was your favorite character?
Let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it.
And so, man, listen, Capri absolutely carries this
She ate.
book.
She ate on this book. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a big
She
fan of Capri, but she
ate.
ate.
She ate on this,
Yeah.
but for the first time, she truly feels like the center of her own story instead of like a supporting character in her brother's story,
Right.
right? Her relationship with Quamir is one of the healthiest we've seen in this universe. The man is serious about marriage. Quamir,
Super serious.
Meerkat is serious about marriage. He's serious about fatherhood. We see that with his relationship with his daughter Peach. I like Quamir's character. Sometimes I'm just like, man, this man is on it. Another time I'm just like, this
Doing
dude is
too
doing too
much.
much.
Doing too
Like,
much.
he's doing too much.
Always doing too
Like,
much.
is it realistic? But then
No,
I'm
it's
just
not,
like,
man.
and then
This is
but then
phony,
there's some
man.
moments where I'm just like, I'm wiping the tear away because I'm like, man, this brother
My
real,
son out
bro.
here, singer, killer,
Yeah,
investment banker, horse ride. He think he could do
yeah,
everything, bro.
man.
Inferno, he a
He's
firefighter. Like, come on, bro. What is
bodyguard,
he doing?
like Capri
Bodyguard.
bodyguard. Like,
You know what I'm
what we
saying? Like, and it's
But
just like,
I feel like a lot of that is refreshing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I
yeah,
like Gams. Gams becomes one of my favorite characters,
by far,
especially when she
by
has this
far.
conversation with Mama Jean Delgado. I love how she can come in there with that wisdom without being preachy. She challenged Jean. She supported Capri at the same time. Like, that's a delicate balance right there.
Absolutely.
And she's just like this family elder, you
Yeah,
know. It's
yeah.
not many people
Calm. Mm-hmm.
that, you know, Quamir kind of bows out to, but he bows down to
To
Gams, you
Grams, yeah,
know.
to Grams,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And I,
so, yeah. And so I feel like Jean Delgado, her character was probably the most interesting character of the book
mm-hmm.
because it starts to open up her story as to why Core is in the
It's
picture,
independent. Yeah,
what she
that's a
was
good
going
story.
through. And so
Yeah.
I feel like Ja did a great job at developing Jean Delgado's character. There's some more
Mm-hmm.
depth there. She's not evil, right?
She's
Life
not.
life
Life
happens,
happens.
right?
Yeah, man.
She's flawed, yeah, but
Yeah.
her admitting that she pushed Naeem onto Capri
On to Capri. Yeah.
and chose her sons over her daughter, she admitted that,
Yeah.
right? She admitted that like on several occasions. And I feel like that just really brings like some more clarity and gravity to that Mama Jean's character. And so my favorite character though, I'm gonna say Gams.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wish
I can
I
see
would
it.
like to see more Gams. You know what I'm saying? I
See
just
her.
like
Give me a Gams backstory.
it's nothing like having that generation as a part of your family living
Right.
under the roof with you. And so I feel like that was really cool. My most annoying character was Brandy, respectfully.
Respectfully.
She just
Yeah.
got on my she's just so messy, bro. Oh my gosh, she's just so messy. Every time she appeared, I was just exhausted, bro. And then again, Jean Delgado finally got her character development package, and that like
Finally.
gets a
Mm-hmm.
salute from me, bro.
Yeah, because it's tough, man. It's tough. I feel like the characters was definitely believable. We know this from Capone all the way Capadonna now in Capri, you know, just with the addition of people like Morgan, Rich Parker, Brandy,
Yeah.
Martin, you know what I mean? Jesse. That was my least favorite character was Jesse because Brandy's the easiest target to hate, but Jesse is one of them people that you grow to hate. You know what I mean? Like she was on Brandy's side. She never really had love for Zoya and Capri like that or
Yeah.
Blair like that. So it was
All that's
like,
gonna come to a head
right,
in
it's gonna
upon
come to a head. So I just feel like
literally.
Jesse was one of those characters that annoyed me like that. But you said everything about Mama Jean and getting her growth story, you know, Core, getting his story balanced out, you know, meeting his parents, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
meeting his siblings, meeting everybody. You know what I mean? That comes full circle. And we talked about Core being a missing piece from before. So I just felt like those characters in particular, and Morgan being the main villain and setting up everything. It's like he's like that Dr. Robotnik
Oh
style.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like
Dr. Robotnik is crazy.
everything is gonna come full circle, right? So it's just like in there, you got Rich Parker, you got we're gonna see Khalil later on, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got Tukey. So there's a lot of sub villains. We got a lot of sub villains that we're gonna talk about, but I feel like the characters and everything was well put together as
I
you
agree.
explained. The dialogue, right? We get a different feel of the dialogue. and not just about it feeling natural or anything like that. It wasn't really a lot of slang in here. I think every character sounded different. Morgan being Irish, Jesse being half white, well, half Irish and half black, or not even half, with Cuban. So she's not even really like black because her mom's was like a Cuban chick, right? I mean, she's not even
Like,
black.
define black. Can we define
I
but
guess she's
black
not
is
African
not,
American.
but
She's
black is
not
not a monolith, it's, you
right.
got
But I
different
mean,
types of blackness.
well, her parents, she's Cuban Irish, if you want to say it, right? Her mom's was Cuban or something like that, and then her pops is fully Irish. So it was like no split in between. So it's just like, I felt like the dialogue was moving. Morgan having an accent, you know what I mean? I just felt like everything was different. Khalil coming out of jail was like everybody had different personalities, which led to the dialogue being different. Nobody had the same voice. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree.
Quamir, the whole Inferno family speaking what is it? Portuguese? Is it Portuguese what they're speaking? What are they
Yes.
speaking? So,
That's what the Inferno family,
yeah, so even them speaking Portuguese
Quasim.
and them actually going through it, Quasim, Granny, and what's the name, and Peach, Peach was saying a little bit of words,
Peach,
but
yeah.
them. So it's just like
And
it
then
was natural.
and then Capri even starts learning
Yeah, and it's just like
Portuguese.
it was just natural. So I just felt like with the dialogue, man, it was just definitely like one of the things, and it was one of the quotes that Capri said. One of the dialogue, and I handed it to you when she said when she was barking on her mom's, and then she said, "Ma, you got me. I'm out here collecting Naeem condoms like Infinity Stones." I'm
Like
like,
Infinity
yo, that was
Stones
a
is
crazy
crazy.
jump.
That was a
So
bar.
that was a bar.
That was a
So
bar.
I just felt like that one that made me laugh, but was like, damn, like it was like cringy. Like she's saying it in front of her moms, in front of everybody. So that was one of the moments where I definitely enjoyed the book. What about you?
Well, there was a lot of dialogue moments that really stood out to me, and I feel like the dialogue continues to be one of the strongest parts of this entire universe. It's the dialogue that keeps me coming back. As you mentioned, the Capri and Jean argument, them going back and forth. I feel like the dialogue between Brandy and on the outing, the brunch outing between
Yeah,
Brandy and
and Jess
Capri, where
and
she said,
Capri.
"That's the ring
That's
that
the ring.
Quamir gave me."
Yeah.
And she was just like, I don't usually let
Stucker.
nobody knock me off my square, but
Stucker.
she
Boom.
knocked me. And so just
Yeah.
that little exchange there,
Absolutely.
I feel like it was just book top clip worthy. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh
could see
yeah.
that little
100%.
exchange there.
100%.
You could feel the years of hurt just exploding out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the humor was also top tier. When Quamir was helping Capone in his garage,
Yeah.
clean his garage. He's like, man, you just got free labor out of me, nigga.
Yeah, you ain't even give me no water.
You didn't even give me no water.
When he called and Capri was having relations on the phone,
Right, that was
and
crazy.
now Capone
Yeah.
can't unhear that.
Yeah, and Capadonna too, when they was
He
dressed
caught
up in the
Cap.
police
Yeah, he
suits,
caught
right?
Cap
They was
too.
going to go handle that mission.
Big Pa.
Hey man, bro.
Yo,
He was like,
Capri,
what?
if you don't, it's like one of those moments. He like Capone.
And then
Cap.
I love the exchange between Capone and Gams when Capone was high off like 6 edible cookies, right?
Ate the wrong cookies,
just,
bro. Ate the wrong cookie.
He was gone for
Gone,
real.
bro. Gone.
I mean, that was comedy gold. And so I feel like Cap and Mir discussing Capri's freaky side and it making Padana uncomfortable.
Making Capone uncomfortable. Capone
Listen,
was uncomfortable a lot in this book. He was more uncomfortable in this book than anything.
And Capone is smooth and even kilter, right?
Yeah.
But man, when he heard his sister like that,
he said, Quamir, if you don't hang up this. He said, yo, your sister's grown, man. Like, but nobody want to hear that though. You know what I mean?
But as you said, man, nobody shares the same voice. Everyone sounds different.
Yeah, yeah.
The serious conversations hit. She landed those conversations well. Jahquel did an excellent job at just pinning that. And the funny conversations, they hit even harder, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
The dialogue,
I think
top tier.
I think the biggest thing in this book right here, this particular book, is where we coming from on themes, right? What stood out to you? Love, loyalty, trauma, hustle, betrayal, redemption. All of those ones stick with me. That argument, that painful argument between them needed to happen. What's Big Mike baby mom's Aaron cousin? I forgot. Damn,
Aaron's
I forgot
cousin.
her name.
Is it
Aaron's
Ty?
cousin.
It's not Ty, is it?
Nah. I'm having a brain fart because I'm thinking about Aaron's aunt.
Y'all type it in the chat in the comment below.
Who had that? Who talk? Remember, Aaron's aunt was talking to Gene about the situation, you know what I'm saying how
Absolutely.
she gave her little 2 cents or whatever. So everything came tenfold when during that argument. So that thing that stood out was loyalty. Jean's loyalty was to Naeem over Capri's during that time. You know what I mean? The same thing with the brothers, right? The loyalty, all of them, even the brothers even said it. Like, yo, our loyalty wasn't with Capri at the time. You know what I'm saying? Our loyalty was with Naeem, but then we quickly realized that we made the same mistake too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not putting her first. Basically not putting her first. Not that they chose Naeem over their sister, but they did unknowingly by not putting her feelings first. Hence why what's her name said this is the reason why she left. This is why she left, because nobody was putting her first. Nobody was caring about how Capri was. So I think that obviously loyalty, Kwame and Capri, right? The love, Kwame and Capri, the trauma that Capri was going through, right?
Yeah.
The betrayal that we see Jesse and and even Brandy that they displayed against Kwame and against Capri, and redemption. Everything is going to be redeemed towards the end. We know that. So I felt like that was, that was a key element in what Jahquel was writing, or what we think that she was writing, in our opinion. I don't think the code, it wasn't pulling from nowhere. It was his own junk. And then we got the deeper message. I feel like if you know what you read in the book, you know what the deeper message was. It wasn't surface drama. So that's what I feel like in things. What about you?
I feel like the theme, this book is really about daughters. It's about daughters. You think about Amy's story, think about Capri's story, Peach, daughters trying to earn love, daughters carrying family expectations, even Brandy, right?
Yeah.
Jesse and her relationship with her son. This story,
with
this
her
book
father
is
trying to
about,
please him.
yeah, this book is about daughters. Daughters healing from mothers who failed them. And sometimes, the strongest thing is generational trauma. And we see that here, dating all the way back to, Core, and even the role that Morgan played in the Delgado's family as like the family nemesis way back to
from way
Dez's
back.
story, right? Like
Absolutely.
this isn't just some character that just popped up. This character, we talked about Ace, we talked about all the other villains in the previous, series, but in this series, it's Morgan causing generational trauma. I think about, the family even caused some generational trauma. Jean spent years believing that Capri didn't need protection while overprotecting her sons. Right?
And protecting Naeem.
Yeah. And Capri spent years just paying the price, having to go through just law school and college and always measure up to her mom's expectation when her mom didn't even meet those expectations. Mom's not a lawyer.
Absolutely.
She said something. Jean said something. She said, I needed a man. I needed your father. I needed Dad. Capri doesn't need a man. That came out her mom's mouth, right? And so this book explores motherhood, it explores family loyalty, forgiveness, healthy love, what healthy love looks like, in Black love scenarios, accountability. There's a lot of accountability that happens here. Gams holding Jean accountable, Dez even having to talk with Jean and holding his wife accountable. I thought that was a great exchange, talk about dialogue. There's a lot of emotional healing here. And so I just walk away from this book as far as, themes are concerned, that sometimes the deepest wounds don't come from your enemies. They don't. They come from your family. And it's played out perfectly in this particular episode.
Absolutely. See, you got the way with words, boy. You got me tongue tied. Pause. That is crazy.
That's crazy. Jada Kids hop over the couch crazy.
Yeah,
like,
we need red bookmarks and yellow bookmarks and throw the flag on the play. We might have to get that going, right? And we could take it back to the city, the setting, the city. Did the city feel alive, right? We know that that everything is in the city. It's popping. You know what I mean? We got numerous shootouts. We got people at deep people's house getting stabbed in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of not yet, but we got a lot of things going on in this book, right? Khalil, we got colleges now in the book where we got Amy going to college classes. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot going on in the city, right? Because everybody is everywhere throughout the whole city. So as always, Ja finds a way to bring the city of New York alive. Even though they live in the burbs or whatever the case may be, they got their own compound. She still finds a way when they going into the city, you know what I mean, to bring that city feel like. And these shootouts taking place on the city lines just prove it, right? BQE is notorious
Yeah.
So I feel like she definitely brought the city alive. I think everything was, I think the lifestyle was portrayed excellently. It was
Yeah.
realistic for me because, when you're dealing with these guys, they at the motorcycle club, which they got motorcycle clubs, they in the burbs, they got their own compound. So it just brought the story to life even more. So I feel like she always going to go top tier when it comes to keeping the city and making it feel alive.
I feel like the city was alive when they were in the city, right? But
Yeah.
this book is less about New York City itself
Hmm.
and more about the homes. It's about the
Yeah.
family
Each home.
gatherings,
Hmm.
right? It's about the brunches, the private
Hmm.
conversations. I felt like that were being had when Mir walks in and Capri is doing Peach's hair,
Yeah.
right? While they're watching a show. It's about those private moments. I feel
And they
like
both were scared.
yeah, exactly. The city matters, but
Yeah.
the emotional settings matter more in this
Right.
particular book. The beauty salon crash out,
Oh, that
in the
scene
city. I
was
told you,
crazy.
the city is alive when they're in
The
the
city
city,
is alive.
right? When Capri
And
showed
I
up,
ain't want
pulled
to.
the gun out on Shorty because she was up there making social media content, twerking behind Quadmir while she
It's
doing
my
his hair.
man. Yeah.
And like, man, listen,
Capri
this
really
my man,
showed.
this is your man.
This
Like,
the first
really?
time we get a chance to see really Capri crash out.
Pregnant
Super
Capri
crash out. Yeah, she was a
over her
super crash
man.
over her man. Over her man who deserved it.
Yeah,
Who
like cause she did
deserves
have
it.
to fight in the
Right.
restaurant
But
with,
that was disrespect. That
but
wasn't
that was
like I'm
disrespect.
coming to crash out.
This is
That was
like, yo, you,
face to face disrespect. This one was
yeah,
like, don't play with my man like that because I
stop
know
playing in
my
my
man.
face.
And my man
Yeah,
ain't going like out like that. You know what I mean? So I just felt like
yeah.
definitely. Now let's
And
get
so
go ahead.
I feel like even the family land, talk about setting. Like my mind went a place when they start talking about this family land that they're building
Yeah.
homes on. Going back to the city, the brunch shootout. When they're in the city is
City is live.
alive. It's up, right?
And that was a
This
little bridal
brunch.
get together. That was a
Yeah, a
little
little
bridal
bridal get
get together.
together,
And
right? And then you got these, yeah, yeah, and so that was dope. Those locations became stages for drama,
mm,
man. And I'm up here just thinking it's just a girl's day out.
right.
It turns into a bit, you know what I'm saying?
Mia
It-
pops up. You had to explain that ring situation. Like, listen, waterhead.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you
And
right.
then when they're talking about like say when Quamir was helping Capone like with the garage situation and cleaning out his garage, I feel like the Delgato family just feels like its own neighborhood.
Yeah.
When I see them, I just see them walking across the street,
Street.
walking down to the
Mm-hmm.
next house. This is their own little
Yeah.
neighborhood, man. And so I think
Absolutely.
that's dope that how she created that feel.
And I feel like this moves right into writing style because the writing
Yeah.
style was definitely smooth, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the writing style was going smooth. So I feel like it was easier to read and listen to if you listen to an audible like we did, right?
Yeah.
If free flow, free smooth. I don't see no gram. I didn't. We listened to it, so we wouldn't know if there's any grammar editing. But I doubt it. You know what I mean? Jahquel is, she's superb at what she does. And she got a great team. So I already know that that's not going to be an issue. But it's in our rubric, so we talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think her style works for the story, right? She from the city. She got a family of her own. She even said her husband reminds her of some of the characters in the book. So I just feel like she's writing from, you know what I mean, experience some. Not saying that
Absolutely.
she went through any of that, but certain situations can spark a thought in your head and you just maybe elaborate on that a little bit more. So I just felt like her style, she from the town. She embodies New York. So I think
Absolutely.
that her style works for this story, and her writing style is just superb when it comes to writing this story and bringing all of the universe together, making everything one.
Man, well said. I feel like the pacing was excellent. The way that she balanced emotional moments
Hmm.
and romance and action, she balanced that extremely well. They
Absolutely.
transitioned well. The romantic scenes, the intimate scenes, even transition into the comedy, transition into the action.
Hmm.
It wasn't forced. One chapter you're tearing up. I was listening to part of this, re-listening to part of this, preparing for this episode at the library, and I'm up here just like I'm like
So the way.
wiping tears, and then the next
Yep.
chapter I'm laughing out loud, people looking at me because I'm listening on audio, right? And then the next chapter, somebody getting shot, and the transitions just never felt forced. And so I feel like as far as writing style is concerned, it was smooth, not sloppy. It was easy to binge read this right here, for real. I didn't want to put it down. It's hard to put down. And so, man, as always, Jahquel J knocked it out the park. you know.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then we move into point number 7. This is the point where the podcast gets a little dark because the emotional impact, was I emotionally locked in? Yes. Any moments that hit hard or stayed with you? Of course. Exactly when this little hooligan, Kwame, attacked my boy Naheem, right? When he attacks Naheem and he
This
thinking,
hooligan, you
yeah,
wildin'.
he's a
You wild. I'm
hooligan.
gonna let you have your moment though.
So this guy, as an emotional dude, my man walking up, it's bad enough that he got his girl stolen or he lost his girl or whatever, his wife or whatever the case may be. Not only to rub dirt in his face, when he's walking up, you gonna say, ah, da, da. And he like, yo, what you mean? You good enough to have his baby, but you giving him mine? It wasn't like he was trying to throw it in her face. I think he had an emotional moment where it was like, damn, like I'm not good enough, but you just wrote me a letter and you just killed off my kid like that. So
I'm gonna pause you right there. I'm gonna pause you right there because
go ahead,
I don't feel like Naheem shouldn't have had that conversation. I just feel like he shouldn't have had that conversation there.
But how
in front of
when you walking
brother,
up,
hey man, hey, is it possible? Come to him like a man. Hey, Kwame, hey, I know that we got history. There's tension here. Can you and me and your soon-to-be bride, can we sit down and have a conversation? Can we go out to eat over lunch and just have a discussion? Because I got some things that I want to bring to your attention. This is not the place, but I feel like this needs to come out, and I need some clarity. Are y'all cool and okay with us having that discussion? I feel like if you come to Quadmere reasonably like that,
you think he gonna go for it? But no, this dude has to viciously attack this man who wasn't even ready for the fisticuffs, right? And then just talking crazy like, I wish that Ja would have wrote. This the only part that I wish Ja would have wrote a little better for me, man, because I'm like, yo, you should have let my son
wrote it how she wrote it.
Now he ain't got a little punch in there, but I don't feel like he got him like he should have got him. You know what I mean? And then it was just like, I wanted my boy to get some more hits in there. You know what I mean? Because the way he made it look, the way she wrote it was that my boy took a L, and not that he got crushed. That's really what it is. He got crushed. But again, I divert. I'm just so funny that I'm just so frustrated right now. I digress. Right. So what I'm saying is, I just felt like she should have showed my boy more decorum than the way she treated him. You know what I mean? When it came to the baby situation, but I don't want to dwell on that. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in because we know a nice little story is coming for Naeem, and hopefully she built my boy character back up, and hopefully he get the runs in with Kwame for a second time. I would love to see that and let my boy be on point this time and not befuddled by a statement made by another woman. But other than that, though, man, I like the moment with Jean Delgado. I like the moment with Jean Delgado when she finally gets to talk to Cole. Not finally, but they kind of had that moment where they kind of, and you see Kwame says she's holding on to him like she's just holding on to him, not want to let him go because she missed so much. So I just felt like, though, and of course we care about what happened to we both care about what happened to the characters, right? So that was my take on an emotional impact. It did make me feel something throughout the whole book.
This might be one of the most emotional books in the entire Delgado series.
I think it is, because we need to talk about the brothers and them arguing with the parents, and then they argue. It's just, go ahead.
Right. The Father's Day gift Capri gave Qasim with Harley's picture.
Emotional.
Like,
moment.
I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like, is there a more heartfelt gift if you're trying to build a relationship with your soon-to-be husband's brother?
Nope.
Who lost his family? Man, that scene got me. Yeah. Like, and she said this. Right? Like, Father's Day was Sunday. She said this. She said, you're still a father, Qasim.
Absolutely.
You're still a father.
You're still a father.
Oh,
that was an emotional.
That was
an emotional moment, and that's what made Capri different from Brandy. Capri actually cares about Qasim as her brother. She know that Mia is her husband, but guess what? I also got another brother. You know what I mean? And she made him feel. She made him feel whole. You know what I mean? It was just an emotional gesture. It was an emotional gesture that made Qasim emotional in his own right.
Absolutely. I feel like that line alone, you're still a father, Qasim. That line alone deserves an award, like a Pulitzer Prize. Like, I don't know what are the book awards out there,
bro.
Like, she was in her bag right here. Like, where do you go to pin this exchange right? To pen this dialogue and this scene. I feel like Jean's admissions, I feel like I got emotional with that. I got the emotional satisfaction that I was looking for out of that, right? As far as forgiveness and everything. Jean said everything that she was supposed to say in order to make that relationship with her daughter right. Corleone meeting Jean, I felt like where Core was emotionally, I felt like it fit. He wasn't over the top.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was on a fact-finding
He had a
mission.
good life.
Yeah,
Nothing was.
He's not pointing the finger at anybody, man.
Yeah, nothing
He's
was
like,
needed.
man, I'm good. My mom was good to me.
Yeah.
She set me up well. The abortion revelations throughout this joint, bro.
Woo!
Like
2 of them. 4 of them.
I'm up here just like,
whoa, you just out here getting rid of kids. Ain't me super selfish.
Yeah. I feel like the healing between generations was dope. This book had heart. This book had a lot of heart. The tears hit harder than the bullets did in this book in Capri. I feel like there's a lot of bonding. My notes that I had in my notes was like, there's a lot of bonding going on in this particular series. And so, yeah.
Can we take a time to see what you say? You said the emotions hit harder than the bullets in this book. Yep. Like that's a bar, bro, but that's a true statement, bro. This book right here was probably the most from what we've read thus far. This is probably one of the most emotional books that we've seen probably since the revelation of what happened with Amy and Ace, right? So that line right there, that's a bar in itself. Hey. The emotions hit harder than the bullets in this one.
Hit harder than the bullets do in this one. Because
that's insane, bro.
And then she wrote it in a way where you have these emotional scenes. Mm-hmm. She wrote in a way that I feel like that still appeal to men. They wasn't super like sappy. They were just human and authentic and raw and visceral. And it provoked a reaction and emotion. You know what I'm saying? Poor man, for real, my tear ducts was going crazy on this joint, man. I had the double tear white going. Like it was crazy. But yeah. Like
and am I tripping? Delivered. This one was the brothers arguing or 2.5? I just got to make sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
tripping.
It was in this one.
It's this one.
They bumped heads.
So this was the first time we could talk about that real quick. I was just like, because it's so many things that I'm thinking about in my head. It's like you got 2 and 2.5, which we hear is just literally just one book. So technically, even though we broke this into half, it's still one book when you buy it. It's not 2.5 when you buy the
It's one book.
So it's really one book. So we can still say it as it's one book. That emotional moment between the twins was crazy too, because them arguing with each other was like the first time we see the siblings going at each other, right? And I'm talking about throwing punches, trying to really take each other head off in this one. He getting pushed mad hard. So that sibling John right there, it was just like that was another emotional point, finding out. Obviously, we know Tasha's still here, but them actually having that a moment about Tasha and him saying you ain't do the job, and Capone like it was his moment of like fresh air because he finally gets to say, I held this family down while you was locked up, sitting up comfy. I'm the one who held this. Who they put this thing together?
I just wish that they didn't have to go there. I wish that Capone never had to say that.
But he said it though.
Bro.
He said, "Who put this thing together?"
Yeah, he said it. But I just wish the family would have just
jumped.
Make it known that
Qasim got in there, was like,
held this joint down.
She did. Erin came out and said it, and she was talking to Cap like, "Yo, he did it without you." Threw it back in there, like, and then when you came home, you had him. He didn't have you when he was out here going at it. And Elia came, not too much of my man now, but it's the truth though. We gotta stop living in that fantasy. It's the truth, bro. It's a way you can say it. It shouldn't have came out like that.
Yeah,
but it
that's
did.
real. Like,
but
Capone,
it's the truth.
Capadonna had Capone. Capone didn't have Capadonna.
Exactly.
Capadonna was behind that wall.
And he was still, Capone had a big, that's why Capone is the foundation of everything, because that heaviest the head line, that goes to Capone, because Capadonna, rightfully so, he was locked up. Capone built it and ran it. When they went to jail, like Tasha even said it, not Tasha, Capadonna baby moms. She even said it. She was like, yo, before when Cap went to jail, they had a little bit of money, but he wasn't popping like he is now. So Capone built that joint up together. So, and I think that all of that raw emotion that came out between the brothers, and I think Capone, I don't even think it was targeted towards them. I think it was all targeted towards Morgan, but he still pressed him about, he was like DMX and Belly, he liked to leave people stinking. That's what he say, you know what I mean? And Capone is like Nas. You know what I mean? Yo, I'm going to Africa, yo. You know what I mean? But X is like running past that light. And here go Trilla. Trilla like to do with the banana paws. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that
I
stuff
don't
at
like
all.
that.
I'm gonna drop the
Yeah.
dime on them fools because
I'ma drop it
we gonna
down.
find out that Triller was work. We gonna talk about that in
Yeah,
2.5.
it comes out.
It
I
comes
feel
out.
like emotionally, like there were funny scenes.
Yeah.
Capella describing Cap and Goon's funny morning workouts when they was
Oh,
in
up and
hiding,
down the
you know what I'm
stairs,
saying? Running
going
up and
up and
down
down
to
the
them big
stairs.
cells, running up and down the stairs, man. I feel like another moment, emotional moment when Capella and Amy are having their issues and their
Yeah.
intimacy, sex
Problems.
droughts
And we're
and
gonna
their
find out why.
problems. And it's being slowly poured out that, you know, there's some postpartum issues there
Issues.
with Amy. I feel like that was genuine and real. Even Jean's story in chapter 7, when she goes back and she recalls giving birth to Court back in the day and how Dez was locked up, you know, and like times was just rough during during those years. And so, yeah, there was a lot of emotional
Moments.
appeal in this book, man. I loved it, bro. It was dope.
And some of the things that we do find out, we know that Morgan and them know about Capone killing the judge and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
find that out that
Right.
Morgan knows that. We find out that Amy had an abortion. Right, Amy is the
Absolutely.
second time we feel like I'm just hitting on points that people might be like, "Yeah, I ain't talk about this." We got you. Point it
Yeah.
out. Right, we get that. We get the show. You know what I mean? We get that scene. We get Amy's boyfriend is out. Khalil, you know, and he won his restitution. You know
That
what I
part.
mean? He won his
Yeah.
restitution. Amy owe that man 20 bands, but we taxing. Right, it got to be
Yeah.
taxed. You spent that man money.
I think it's also a cool scene because when it happens, right? When Capadonna picks up Quamir in the wee hours of the morning in the NYPD cop
You got
uniform,
that scene, yeah.
and he also had this uniform for Quamir, but I like it because they about to go handle business, but for this cop and to get him to
To
retract
get
his
him to
statement.
retract the statement,
But
absolutely.
what I liked about it is like, man, there's this bonding that's taking place between the head of the Delgato family and Quamir, one of the newest families, you know what I'm saying? But he's also in Inferno. It's
He treat him
happening in the
like a
wee
little
hours of the
brother.
morning. It's probably about 4 in the morning or something like that.
Absolutely. He
And
treat
they
him like
just
a little
cruising
brother.
around in this unmarked police car. And there's this bond. They're joking, but they're also having real conversations.
Yeah. Talk about the land.
They talk about the land and how he wants to pay
steps up.
Capri's
Absolutely.
portion of it, which is like, man, it's honorable. Like, right?
Honorable.
And Capadonna is just like, man, you don't
I
gotta do
don't
it.
want no
But he doesn't
handouts.
take Quamir doesn't take the out, right? And so I thought that was really dope. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good stuff. I think that we could save for the next
We
point.
could save for the next, and that's where we get to originality, right?
Yeah.
And we'll wrap this up after originality. We know it's fresh. This is not recycled because we've never been in this position in the series thus far. Maybe later on it might be some different, but for right now, this is fresh. This is because the stories is fresh, right? We had the core revealed, then the bringing up to the parents, the Morgan situation. So everything right now is fresh. It's all fresh in this books, right?
Yeah.
This book stands out in urban fiction, bro. Capri is the best series. We haven't done a lot of urban fiction. I haven't read a lot of urban fiction, but I've read some urban fiction. But this one definitely stands out because look at what people are saying when we go live, right? They're saying Capri is the best story. So it ain't just us saying that. They're saying Capri was the best story, hands down. So I felt like an originality.
And we're seeing this to be it's the best developed.
By
definitely.
far.
Yeah.
By far.
I feel like
definitely the best.
And I feel like, and here's why for me, most urban fiction focuses on street power.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This book focuses on emotional power,
education.
Yeah,
because
you
Capri
see
she can't hold a family down if she don't go to school.
Right. You see where, man, I got somebody at the door. Let me let my kids answer the door. Let me
Nah,
see.
you
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
Yeah. You threw one more red cowboy bottle. Yep, that part. Ain't gonna just handle it, and it works for now. Yeah, so we don't got in the budget this year. No, I totally agree. Yeah, a lot of my stuff too is on big tempo. If I have anything, you're lucky enough to work. I appreciate you, man, but nah, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we too.
He tried. Nah, he looked like he was like mixed with something, like white and Armenian, like I don't know, Mexican or something like that. He looked Italian almost. All right, I'm back, bro.
All right,
Yeah.
good.
All right. most urban fiction focuses on street power, but this book actually focuses on emotional power. And I see the scene where since you said it's one book, I don't know if it was in 2 or 2.5. It's all running together now. But when Capella goes to the bar,
Yeah, that's in
and you know what I'm
2.5,
saying,
I
he's looking
believe.
at
Yeah.
the bartender, and then
Shantae.
Shantae, and then Qasim said, "Man, you about to jump off the ledge. Stop.
Fall back. Yeah,
Fall
fall
back,
back.
bro. The
Mm-hmm.
first time y'all bump heads and you already out here looking for." So if there's emotional power right there, and I feel like, and that's what separates like a Jahquel book from the rest of. Man, I hope I'm not stepping on toes, because we're gonna have some authors on here. But from what I've read so far,
So
this is
far.
what
Yeah.
separates this particular book, this Capri series, from the rest. The biggest battles in this series, and I feel like people can relate to this statement, they weren't fought with guns. Like the biggest battles were fought in conversations, these hard, tough, emotional conversations that were being had by, you know, Capri and her mom, and Amy and Capella, and,
Kwame
you
and
know,
Capri.
yeah, yeah. And so the strongest weapon in this book, as far as originality goes, was just the truth,
And I feel like
you
as we
know?
get into our last point, the final verdict, but before we get into that, you know, the part that had me hooked was the end. They had to get Schmurda, because Schmurda was, you know what I mean, the one that tried to, you know what I mean, take
Yeah,
out the family. So them getting that
absolutely.
last scene, and that's pretty much one of the last scenes leading up to the end of the book, was they had to get Schmurda before he went back to Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Mission accomplished. Amy, yo, hold tight. And Amy had to, you know what I'm saying? We know
Yeah,
that,
that
you know,
shootout
the
was
shootout
crazy.
scene. We don't gotta
Yeah,
go into details, but we know that Amy was the one that had to pull that trigger to finish off Schmurda. And then
but she wasn't confident at
she wasn't
first, you know what I'm
confident at
saying?
first, but then
Yeah,
she emptied that mag.
yeah,
Capri was like, yo, we getting close to the bridge. Get him, get him. And then, you know what I'm saying? She bust through the
yeah,
window, shoot Schmurda. Kwame come up on the side, hit the driver, car flip over, boom,
yeah.
Schmurda. Checkpoint, get him going, right?
I feel like what part had me hooked was just Corleone finally meeting Gene.
Mm,
I feel like that was a big part
that's a
in this
big part.
whole story, you know, from
Absolutely.
Capone to, you know, Capri. I feel like this was a huge part in the story. That definitely had me hooked.
I feel like you know, was this a must read, right? Was this a
Oh,
cool read?
absolutely. No doubt.
Come on, this
No
is a
doubt.
must read. You got
This
to
is a
get through this
must
series.
read,
Must
bro. A
read.
must read, must listen,
Yeah,
however you
I'm
consume this
recommending
book.
this to everybody.
Yeah,
You got to. I've been telling
absolutely.
my homeboys, yo, jump into this jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just feel like, so now as we roll down to the end, right? I know we do this 1 through 5 bookmark system, so we ain't got to
Yeah, yeah,
explain
yeah,
it to
yeah,
you no
yeah.
far.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? One meaning, you know what I mean, trash, 5 meaning certified classic. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a certified classic. I'm going 5 bookmarks.
5
This is a
bookmarks
classic. 5 bookmarks. Certified classic for Raw
for
J.
2, for Capri 2.
For Capri 2. Certified classic. For me.
I'm gonna be
Certified
petty.
classic.
I'm gonna be petty.
Oh, what we doing? What we doing?
Because I like 2.5 better than I like 2.
Right?
Yeah, and so, but not by much. And so my overall score, right,
Uh-huh.
is 4.9 out of 5.
There you go.
4.9. It's
There you go.
certified
I
heat,
got
bro.
it.
This book is
It's a
it's
classic,
it's
son.
pure heat,
This
man.
is a classic.
Yeah, bro.
2
I would say
now
I
now
slick. I slick would
you know
tell
what's
people if they
crazy?
were starting reading, right? Start with Capri, then go back.
You know what's crazy? 2 and 2.5 gotta be classics, but we'll talk about that at 2.5. But
I
we'll
agree.
talk about that. But we'll because it's all. But we'll talk about that later. I don't want to. I'd rather give that at the end of 2.5 before we go into book 3, right? And it's gonna make sense. And it's gonna make sense why, right?
Yeah.
Because and man, I explain. I don't even want to explain it right now. But man, any last thoughts you want to give before we close the chapter on book 2?
Man, I just feel like, you know, this book's reminding us all that healing is harder than revenge, you know, and I'm glad that Jahquel slowed up the story. But just because she slowed up the story to kind of unpack some of these sub stories, that doesn't make it any less like appealing and just you wanting to really consume this content. But like, you know what I'm saying, healing is harder than revenge, because if it was easy, they would have been did it. They would have been had the conversation, Gene and Capri. They would have been, you know, ask for forgiveness and heal and patch up the different wounds that are present, you know, but it just keeps lingering. You know, Amy would have been went to the family and said, man, I'm got this issue with this Negro,
Right.
Khalil.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? And so,
whew,
which two ends on.
2.5,
Yeah, two
ends on
two
Khalil.
ends
Yeah.
on this dude,
Don't worry,
Khalil,
we'll be
old
back.
boyfriend, old
Yeah.
flame is out of prison and he's leaning on the whip.
On the whip. Tax season. That's all you got to realize.
Tax season is
man.
crazy, man.
Hey, man, this was a certified classic for both of us,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely,
So,
man.
you know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah,
can't wait to bring
dysfunction
2.5
at
to
its
you.
finest, man.
Absolutely, man. Anything for the viewers before we get up out of here, man. Make sure I'll tell them more. Make sure you copy your Bookfest merch, man. Check out our joint. We got our link in the bio. So just check it out, man. You know what I mean? Even if you don't cop something, just look at it. You might want to return for a visit and get something later.
And then again, we're unpacking and reviewing this Jahquel J book. Make sure you go and check out the Jahquel J interview as well. It was a great interview. If you haven't done so already, man, I think you'll enjoy that.
And check out her books, man. Start with Capone Book 1. That's the foundation.
Yep.
Start with Capone Book 1 from Jahquel J, man. You will not regret it. It gives you, and you got a multitude of books to read. So don't say we ain't put you on or nothing. You know what I mean?
Doubt.
I think and I think she is a talented author. She's a great person. So I think definitely want to check out her work, man. But until next time, man, I'm the speaker. We got Jules the architect.
Architect,
Peace.
baby.